Hey guys, we're going to continue to press through Mark's account of the last week of Jesus' life here on this earth. And if you remember on Sunday, Jesus had rode that colt into Jerusalem, and people were laying down the red carpet and singing praises, Hosanna in the highest. And then on Monday, Jesus enters into the temple and he turns over tables and he runs everybody out. And because they had basically turned his father's house into this marketplace, the stockyard. And now we're on Tuesday and he's going to die on Friday. But this is the first time he's entered into the temple since he's cleansed it. And if you remember back in the cleansing, it talks about the scribes and the chief priests in verse 18, how when they heard it, they sought how they might destroy him. For they feared him because all the people were astonished at his teaching. And back in chapters 8, 9, and 10, Jesus tells his disciples 3 times, these people are going to kill me. And now he's back in the temple, and these people are confronting him. They're trying to trip him up. They're trying to trap him. And they have this question for him. So let's begin in verse 27. And they came again to Jerusalem, and he was walking in the temple, and the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders came to him. And they said to him, by what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you the authority to do these things? But Jesus answered and said to them, I will ask you one question, and then answer me, and I will tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or from men? Answer me. And they reasoned amongst themselves, saying, if we say from heaven, he will say, why then did you not believe him? But if we say from men, they feared the people, for all counted John to have been a prophet indeed. And so they answered and said to Jesus, we do not know. And Jesus answered and said to them, neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. So here's their question. By what authority have you done these things, and who gave it to you? They're asking Jesus to prove his credentials, which is a legitimate question. And Jesus would have treated it as such and answered it as such if they would have been sincere in asking it. You know, this is not a sincere question like, wow, you blew us away the other day, and we're just wondering by what authority you did it. They were asking something like, what gave you the right to come in here and to do the things you did and try to tell us how to run our business? You know, this is an incredibly insincere question, and that only becomes more evident as the story goes on. Because Jesus, as a good rabbi, he asks a question in return for their question. No, you answer my question, and then I'll answer yours. And what's incredible about this question is that if they would have been honest and sincere and answered his question, then it would have answered their question. And so what is it? The baptism of John, is it from God or is it from man? How do they answer? Well, if they would have answered from God, then Jesus would have turned around and said, why didn't you believe John? You know, John's whole mission, his whole message was, there comes one who's mightier than I who comes after me. It's Jesus. You need to be following him. And if they would have answered man, then the people would have been upset because they all believed that John was a prophet. And so they're very much thinking like politicians because they're thinking about the response to their answer and not really the sincerity of their answer. This is an incredible question by Jesus because they came trying to trap him, and he in turn turned it around on them and trapped them. And honestly, in not answering the question because they just said, we don't know, they actually answered the question. Jesus' authority was from God. And so Jesus' question here is one that we really need to ponder. Is our authority from God or is it from man? Those are the only 2 options. There's not a third one. And we can't say that authority doesn't matter because we're just placing ourselves in the seat of authority. And so in everything that we do, we need to be asking, is our authority from God or is our authority from man? You know, if it's found in the Bible, then our authority is from God. If it's not found in the Bible, then it's from man. That's a really challenging question.